Alright guys, so welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to give you 5 tips on the Flightscope Mevo Plus to get the best performance out of the unit and to avoid some errors that a lot of people might make without even knowing. So stay tuned. Okay, so my number one tip, which affects the unit, I think, in my opinion, is wet golf balls. If you use golf balls that are wet, it's going to definitely affect the ball flight, and it's going to affect the spin numbers on the Mevo Plus unit. Now, I'm talking about when you are in either in the range or at home as well. So make sure that the ball is dry. So even if the mat is wet, after you hit it, make sure you dry it, or if you're in the driving range, make sure that the balls that you're using are not wet. So the reason why you don't want to use wet balls is because when you hit the ball, basically the Mevo Plus unit gets the data from here, and so if there's water, there's a splash because the balls are wet, then that it's gonna kind of blur it, and you're gonna get not very accurate readings. Or sometimes you don't get, from my experience, sometimes you don't get a reading at all because it's a splash, so the unit won't even read it. So make sure to always use dry golf balls. Okay, so tip number 2 is, from my experience, when you're setting up the unit to pick your alignment, I found that it was very difficult. You don't get good readings if you kind of like go in an angle. So like say, instead of setting the unit like this straight, like if you decide to go like to the flag over there, so if I set it like that, I found that it was a little less accurate in my opinion, especially the shop shape. So in my opinion, when you're setting it up, try not to switch it like this, try to always have a straight line. Okay, so tip number 3, when you're aligning the unit, normally you go like this and align it. And a lot of people don't know that if you go into the settings, you can actually use the buttons to kind of do your last minute alignments. Okay, so these are the little arrows that you can use to move them. They're located right here. So make sure to use that to, once you already have it set up more or less in the right position, just use these arrows to make it, to make the last final adjustments. Okay, so tip number 4, which a lot of people don't do. A lot of times after you use it for a while, you get some stains or gets a little dirty, the unit. So normally what I suggest is like wipe it off, put some cleansing spray and wipe it off. And to me, that it definitely improves the accuracy of the unit. After a lot of usage, you can definitely see that you get some spots in here. I just recently cleaned it, but it's hard to tell. So make sure to spray it with something and just wipe it off and keep this area clean. And that way you're gonna get the best readings, in my opinion. Okay, and the final tip number 5, has to do with alignment again. When you align it, not only look at the target close by, but also look at the target in the back. Because a lot of times what happens, based on my experience, if I pick a target right here, I think that, I draw an imaginary line to the back, and a lot of times is wrong, because when I see it in the unit, it's a little more to the right or left. So my suggestion would be to pick the line that is really far. What I mean is, like, when you're making your alignment, don't just pick the line right here, really close, because sometimes that's not going to be the same. You might think like, okay, this is the line that it will go all the way back. So in my opinion, it's better if you pick a target far away. So I could easily say, yeah, it looks like right here. So if I draw an imaginary line, it's to the left of there. But if I look at the unit, actually the line, it's more to the right. So I would go ahead and just look at the farthest point from the unit and make my alignment as far as possible, as far as you can see, because it's hard to see from the unit. So, but definitely don't pick your target so close to you. Just pick it far away, and that way when you are actually playing, you'll see the exact line. Especially when you're drawing, you're pulling it. So otherwise, it's not gonna be correct, because the line might be here. You might pick the line here, but the actual line, far back, is gonna be a little more right here. Okay, so one last bonus tip. When you're setting up the units, you see here that there's a shade and then there's a sunlight. So in my opinion, it's better to have the same lighting. So you either go all in the sunlight, or in the shade, like here, shade and shade. So in my opinion, is as long as you keep the same lining from the unit to the ball, you shouldn't have a problem. So Like right here, if the ball is in the sunlight, then and the unit is in the shaded area, I don't think that's gonna work very well. But if you move the unit to sunlight and I keep this in sunlight, then it should be fine. So as long as it's the same. Okay guys, so those were just a few tips based on my experience that I think has allowed me to get the unit perform impeccable, in my opinion. Sometimes you don't even think about these things, you know, wet balls, and you kind of like, as you go, you learn more about the unit and what makes it more performing. Obviously, I think now with the new feature, the fusion tracking that there is going to come out soon, with that, I think it's going to be even better. So, but anyways, in my opinion, I would just I will make sure to follow these few guidelines to make sure that your readings are always accurate. So that was it for the video. Hopefully these tips are useful. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Thanks for watching. Until next time.